Oh, man. I'm using the back camera. Peace, y'all. Greetings. Good afternoon. Love and light to the family in the building. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that part. Happy Saturday to everybody. We are in the building. Yeah, they you know what I mean? They be playing. I had to turn my Wi-Fi off just for the live to work. Where they do that at? That's that backward shit that be going on. But you know, we here now. The Build and Destroy podcast is everything. Thank you so much. I'm gonna tell that to my whole team. You know, we've been putting in a lot of work to produce the podcast and to roll out a successful brand, you know, so thank you for that. You know, we went through a little mishap when we first launched. YouTube took the whole channel, not just the video, they erased the whole channel, you know what I mean? And I think it's because we were talking about AI for melanated men, talking about technology like AI. They don't like that. They want us to talk about BTS Savage getting killed in Houston. They want to talk about Ice Spice getting her chain snatched. You know, they want us to deal with the buffoonery and shit like that. But because we decided that we wanted to have an intellectual conversation about AI, right? They had a problem with that, and they basically took the whole channel. So we gave YouTube the middle finger, and we signed a deal with Spotify for video podcasts. So now we rocking with Spotify and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? We not rocking with YouTube. And shit. I'm really contemplating taking my Monday and my Thursday show off of YouTube and putting it behind a paywall. You feel me? Streaming, having a subscriber only channel, and just putting it behind a paywall. Because to be honest with you, you know, I'm very serious about my content moving forward. I'm serious about my image, my likeness, my content. If they cut my content, it's like they're cutting my bread. It's like they're cutting my assets. I understand the power of the assets, so you know we got to get to the bottom of that. But that's not the conversation that we're going to be having today. I'm going to have a conversation that might be a little controversial and whatnot. It might even get me another ban from the live and whatnot. As a matter of fact, nah, we not about to do that. You know what I'm talking about? I got my blue check. No, we're not about to do that. We're about to have that conversation off of these folks' network. I learned the smart way. You feel me? I learned the smart way. You don't come inside of these people's house to talk about them. You know what I mean? That, you know, our grandparents taught us that. You don't go inside nobody's house to talk ish about them. You do that in your house. So, you know, we're going to have to build our own house so we could talk crazy about the trans meltdown that I'm seeing taking place. I have to address it. We have to talk about it. We got to unpack it. We have to comb through it with a fine tooth comb. I'm seeing the deputization of a protected buffer class that has clear mental issues. They're weaponizing them right now. They're deputizing them right now. The quote-unquote far left is going against the far right. And it seems that these people have become the buffer class. And they're putting guns in their hands and they're protecting them. And they're letting them kind of like run around and do what thou wilt. And we got to talk about that. You know what I mean? We got to have a I want to have a conversation with a sister, you know what I mean, who has a womb and whatnot, preferably a mother, Okay, preferably a mother, somebody who gave birth. And I want that person on the panel. And I also want somebody to speak up for the community. I don't want it to be one-sided. I would welcome anyone from that community, male or female, them or they, to be a part of that conversation as well. You know, but we got to talk. You know what I mean? We got to talk, and we have to take the emotions out of it. We have to take the person. It won't be derogatory personal attacks. This is an intellectual dialogue. Matter of fact, build and destroy. That's why we have this podcast, because we have the podcast so we could build and we could destroy. You have a question, the kid? Please ask it. So yeah, I'm going to put that together. I'm calling out anybody in the Atlanta community from the LBGT community to be an invited guest on the Build and Destroy podcast. We are currently broadcasting through Spotify, like I said, and we also appear on many other platforms like Apple Music and whatnot, all of the streaming platforms. We have it. So you'll have, your audience and whatnot. So pull up, you know what I mean? Pull up. You don't have nothing to worry about. We not those type of people. You know what I'm saying? We're not afraid of you. We have love for you. You know what I mean? We just want to have a conversation. So what up, Sandra? So this brother asks, what is the stance on Black Greek fraternity hazing, and can a conscious person do it, or their kids? Please build on that in depth. I'm not a proponent of the frats and the Soros and whatnot, although I do know people who belong to those. Would you like an opposing view from the LBG squad? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that I'm inviting somebody from that squad. They can't be obnoxious though. You feel me? They can't be obnoxious. They have to be mentally stable. They got to be emotionally stable, and they have to be grounded. That's the only, because I don't want all of this and all of that. I don't want Frida turning up on us, because then we're going to have to turn up on her or him or whatever. I just want to have an intellectual conversation. I want to have I just want to have I want to have a talk. I want to get to the bottom of some things. So going back to the frats and whatnot, I ain't, that's not something that we co-sign. You know what I mean? Dr. Ben and Baba Ajra Kwesi, they have a Kemetic fraternity, and they have a Kemetic lodge and whatnot. They put those pieces back together. If I were to do anything, I would rock with them. But I'm not a proponent of, hazing. What you getting hazed for? You know what I mean? That's a ritual. And you kind of like getting, you getting ritualized into a fraternity, right? Then you got to take an oath to that fraternity. So you're somewhat locked into an oath forever. And then you get branded like a slave and whatnot with some letters. And then they're not teaching about the Etruscans. They're not teaching that the Greeks were black. So you running around, worshiping Greek freaks and whatnot, right? So what happened when the fraternities and all of that came into our community? They brought Greek ways with them. You know what I'm saying? They brought Greek ways with them. So they brought a lot of Greek mentality. They brought a lot of Greek behaviors. They brought a lot of that Greek, quote unquote, that freakish Greekish shit. They were the closeted ones. You know what I mean? They were out there paddling each other on the behinds with paddles and whatnot. They were, and then they kind of like co-signed the shit that I'm talking about that we want to address on the podcast. So a lot of that has throughways to each other. You know what I mean? A lot of our men were turned out and were, quote unquote, broken. They were broke backed inside of those fraternities, whether they knew that was about to happen or not. Shout out to the Aware brand. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Aware brand. They're doing big things. You can find them in Foot Locker and other places. These are melanated, and they got a podcast. Shout out to them. Women got turned out in the sororities too. You know what I'm saying? They got turned out. They got flipped and whatnot. The black men got flipped and whatnot. And when you look at who's behind the Greek fraternities, who's the puppet masters, it's not us. So I ain't rocking with that. Emphatically no. And if you have a child and whatnot and they Greeked up and whatnot, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, shit. That's on you. That's something that you got to deal with. You feel me? Don't turn your backs on them. You know, shit. It's not like they're gonna become a horrible person or anything. They know not what they are doing. They might be following their parents' footsteps. It might be a traditional, some Cosby Show type shit. Like, you know, they may feel like that's part of the, you know, that's like what people marched across the bridge in Selma for. They could have learned about the Moors. They could have learned about Kemet. They could have learned about, you know, Hannibal. I'm with the fraternity that represents the Carthaginians. That's who I'm rolling with. I'm rolling with the fraternity that's representing the 18th dynasty or you know, I'm representing the fraternity. Shit, I'll sign up to Genghis Khan fraternity before I sign up to some Greek shit. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's about networking with those organizations. But moving forward, you got social media, you got online communities, Facebook groups. You don't need a goddamn fraternity for a network anymore. Hello. You don't need that. You know, build your own damn networks. And to be honest with you, all of that networking has accounted to what? You know what I mean? All of that networking has accounted to what? The frats and the Soros still come from neighborhoods that they have not helped at all. They didn't build them up. They didn't gentrify them. They were not ahead of the gentrification bus. They Greeked up and they don't own their blocks. They Greeked up. They don't have no cul-de-sacs, right? They Greeked up. They don't own no goddamn skyscrapers in New York. They Greeked up. They don't own, you know, they sold Atlanta. They don't own Atlanta. They sold Atlanta. The same way in Harlem, Calvin Butts and that piece of shit Charlie Rango's, they sold Harlem. They sold it out. I hope that they show Godfather Harlem is doing a great job by showing Adam Clayton Powell his depiction of how he was underneath the deodorant of Lyndon Johnson and whatnot. But if they go a little bit further and into the 70s and whatnot, they will show you in great detail how these shucking and jiving Negroes with perms and whatnot, these niggas with conks, sold us out. They sold us out. And a lot of the Soros and the frats sold us out, right? Facts, boule type of activities, you know what I'm talking about? They are what is considered to be the far left now. They're the conservative Democrats. You know, they the liberals and whatnot who are collectively destroying everything that this country had that was good for them. You understand? They're part of this new coalition of weirdos in politics that are like having, you know, people with mental issues go to libraries and read books to impressionable 3-year-olds, right? Men in dresses and whatnot. That's what the frats is pushing. That's what the frats is pushing. That's what the Soros is pushing. Stacey Adams came out on stage to twerk with Mulatto, you know what I mean? Talking about she need big dick energy. You know what I mean? That's what they did all of that marching and all of those years and those bullets that the King family took. So Stacey Abrams could come out on stage and twerk with Mulatto, and Maxine Waters could say that Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion's Wet Ass Punani is a song of liberation, right? And where did that liberation get y'all? Let me know. Where y'all at now with the liberation? How far has that gotten you? And could we get an update? You feel me? Where's the charts on your liberation? I just want to know. Where's the charts on your liberation? You know what I mean? Like, is the shit in a bear market or is it bullish? Where is it at? So, once again, for anybody that's listening, you know, I'm sure your hairdresser, you got, you know what I mean? It's either your cousin or your uncle or your friend. Call them, let them know. You know what I mean? And don't have it be somebody who doesn't have, I need the representative of that community. Where's the spokesperson? Where's the talking heads? You know what I mean? Don't give me no poo butts. You feel me? Don't bring the help. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring the help out of that. Bring the big dogs. Where's the thought leaders? Where are the quote unquote, you know, front lines in the LBGT community? Where's homie with the blue vest from Black Lives Matter? He could come on. I want to talk to somebody. You know what I mean? Preferably men that wears wigs. You know what I'm saying? I want to have a conversation. I think that over the past few weeks, I've seen the volatility of that community raising up. I'm actually concerned. Supernova, peace to the God, was really good. I'm actually concerned that individuals from that community are going to begin to, you know, resort to violence, right? I'm just picking up a lot of animosity and violence coming from that community. I read the manifesto of what they call of the transsexual shooter who basically went inside of a school and killed children, a black man, and some women. The manifesto that I read was almost similar to the manifesto that I read from the Buffalo shooter who killed 10 people inside of a supermarket. The shit was crazy. Manifestos are means of propaganda. When somebody kills someone and they release a manifesto and then the police or the media releases that manifesto for you to read, that's all propaganda. That's how they weaponize and that's how they radicalize people who are basically just in the wings and whatnot, who are on the fence, right? That person's sacrifice and the fact that they left behind a manifesto, which equates to instructions, right? It's like a manual, you know what I mean? It's like the 10 crack commandments and whatnot. Biggie, that was his manifesto. He left behind the 10 crack commandments. Real talk. And what did that do? That didn't help our community. That didn't uplift. It made young people feel like they had to sell crack. Or if it wasn't crack, they just was like, I'm going to replace crack with dope, with horse, with Fetty and whatnot. I'm going to replace crack with Molly Percocet. I'm going to replace crack with ecstasy. I'm going to replace crack with any type of quote unquote uncontrolled substance, right? So when somebody is martyred, right, because that person, I believe they lost their life. They got killed by the police, right? When somebody is martyred and they leave behind a manifesto, that is highly dangerous. That manifesto should be burnt. That manifesto should never be released to the public. They shouldn't even be telling us that there's a manifesto. You feel me? The manifesto creates destros, right? It will create more copycat killers and whatnot. It will embolden and invigorate those that are in the wings and whatnot with mental health issues and instability, you know what I mean? High level mental health issues, severely emotionally unstable, and if you were to ask me, spiritually possessed. I mean, the gates have opened up, and where did all of the entities hop into? You know what I mean? It looked like they took over a lot of people. You know, I'm not narrowing out anyone in particular. I'm not narrowing out anybody, FYI. I'm just saying, as I scan the horizon, I'm beginning to see something this a means of a cause of concern. I'm seeing the deputization of a buffer class. They're literally putting guns in their hands. Right? Yeah, heavy on the possessed. Heavy, right? Heavy on the possessed. And I don't want to get graphic, but I will. I don't want to get graphic, but I will. You know what I mean? I will walk you through the possession and how it happens, right? I could walk you through it. It deals with trauma. right? It deals with trauma, is what is called a Typhonian ritual. So for the brother that was asking earlier about the frats and the sorrows and whatnot, for the fraternity specifically, the Typhonian ritual is, penetrating a man, right, through and taking his manhood, right? That's where they said that's the set energy. That's the set, right? In the narrative of Set versus Heru, right? Set did what? Set violated Heru. Set violated Heru, right? Set, right? His uncle violated him with a sexual act that was considered to be, back in those days, completely haram, right? So that they call it a Typhonian ritual, okay? It's a possession, okay? It is a possession. So I can't get too graphic on Instagram and go into mad detail on it, but I can speak my mind, when I'm not being heavily surveilled and censored and whatnot. But we'll have that conversation. I'll bring the receipts. I'll bring the text. This ancient text. Ancient, right? Ancient, before civil rights. It's text coming out of Kemet. It's coming out of Kemet. And it speaks about that violation and what that means. And they had a whole priesthood that was into that henceforth, while the Roman Catholic Church was rolling like that. Right? Henceforth, why, when they conquered countries and whatnot, what did they do to the men and the women? How did they break them? Right? What was the sexual practice? The Roman armies, their way of domination was what? Okay, he attempted to assault Heru, right? By doing what, Wealthy B? Be specific. What did he do to Heru so the people in the chat could be able to read it and whatnot? Right? So when they went to Brazil, when the Portuguese went to Brazil, how did they buck break the women and the men? Talk black to me. You know what I mean? How did they break into them? You feel me? In Africa, when they started those campaigns of plunder and pillage and rape and whatnot, who does their research? Because I know that I'm not talking to people who are not studied and whatnot. Who did their research? What you mean, what kind of ritual? What you think? I'm asking you. I want you. I'm prompting you. I'm you the GPT. You know what I'm saying? This is chat GPT. The chat, you niggas is GPT. I'm prompting you. Right? I'm prompting you. What do you think they did? What do you think they did? Because I don't want to be, like I said, they cut my lives every other week, bro. I be cut. I'm Andrew Tate, nigga. They be putting me in jail for 90 days, bro. And I'm just left to do push-ups and read the Quran. You know what I mean? They be Andrew Tating me. It's not just rape, it's sodomy. Right? It wasn't simple rape, it was sodomy. Okay? That's how they break you in, through the sodomy. Okay? That's the Typhonian ritual, right? That's what they were running around doing. That's what the Romans do. Roman antics or Roman domination is by dominating you sexually. That's why women, black women in particular, through the means of Pornhub, and you gotta watch the documentary on Netflix. It's gonna show you how Pornhub, y'all are possessed. Everybody that's into the pornography is possessed by all kind of entities and things of that nature. But it goes further into detail how the pornography industry got taken over by SEO marketers from Germany and whatnot. And when they started to push a form of quote unquote sex and whatnot that was different from the regular sex that we were seeing in the 70s and the 80s, and they introduced anal and whatnot, that was all planned. You know what I mean? That was all planned. That's Roman antics. You feel me? And they got black women in particular wanting gonzo sex. What is gonzo sex? That's when you getting banged out. You know what I mean? That's when a nigga putting his Timbs in your face. You feel me? That's gonzo. That's that real violation. ghetto gaggers and whatnot. That's Roman antics. That's what y'all into. 50 Shades of Grey and whatnot. They flipped you. They flipped you, and by flipping you, they are now fucking with your morality, right? Your morality is in the toilet, right? They've been able to penetrate and start fucking with your morality. They've been able to penetrate and take away your values. And they did it all through porn. How about that? Ha! And reality shows and other things like talk shows, like, you know, it's all been programming. But they got you into the gonzo shit. Y'all was never like that. Ask your grandmama how they was getting down. Was they getting body slammed? You feel me? Were they getting body slammed? Was niggas doing pasta? Was your grandfather jumping off of the goddamn off the kitchen table to elbow your grandmama to give us some kind of sensations during foreplay? Huh? And I don't think so. I don't mean to be graphic and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? I don't mean to be graphic like that, but it is a gruesome world that I'm uncovering. And my Scorpion nature allows me to go into those darker places, you know, and don't feel no type of way talking about it. I could talk about it like it's regular, you know what I mean? And I don't feel no kind of way. It's just life. It is what it is. But hear this out. Our people have been, quote unquote, duped, right? We become what we despise the most, right? We become what we despise the most. We've been following these people in their wicked ways and whatnot. I remember the 70s and whatnot when I was, you know, laying with women. I'm just playing. I remember the 70s, though. It was a lot of soft love. It was a lot of soft love. Men were passionate. Women was into shit like missionary, right? Yeah, dominance hierarchy. Dominance hierarchy, right? Roman antics. This is not normal. This is not normal. And women is like, oh, I wonder why I'm acting like a dude and whatnot. Nigga, you wrestling every night. What is you talking about? You in the bedroom wrestling. You wrestling like Clubber Lang and whatnot versus Hulk Hogan. Are you dumb? Are you serious? How you gonna be ladylike and you just got clothesline before you gave a nigga some neck? That's not natural. That's not natural. You know what I'm saying? Niggas they not bringing out your soft side. You're not blossoming into a flower like that. You getting pounded on, right? Pound town. So pound town and somebody being physically abusive, it's a thin line. It's a thin line. If a nigga could choke you out, if he could clothesline you, then he could smack you open-handed, Will Smith. If he could clothesline you, then he could elbow you. I ain't with all that. Don't ever pull up on me talking about choke me out. You feel me? I'm gonna unfollow you. I ain't with none of that. I'm not beating up on no woman, bro. If that's what you need to get off, then you know, we are not the same. You know what I mean? We are not the same. I want soft loving. I'm trying to live a soft life. You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to relax. You know what I mean? I don't have to figure out, yeah, they get Donkey Kong punch. I ain't with that. I ain't with none of that. And like I said, at the end of the day, because you could say that I'm being judgmental and whatnot, what I'm addressing is the lack of values. What I'm addressing is the morality that's being taken from our culture. What I'm addressing is the fact that we don't realize what is taking place right underneath our nose, right? And we're being programmed to be very dehumanized and desensitized and whatnot, and very beast-like in our nature, right? We're becoming very They in the streets fucking. How about that? They in the streets fucking. You know what I'm saying? What kind of bestiality? You in the free world. You in America. You in the streets boning and whatnot. That's what they would do in places that was considered to be third world. They behind cars. They at bus stops. They in the train station in New York. They on the train. What are you talking? What's going on? They wasn't even doing all of that during the crack era. So to say that we have slid into what I call a bizarro world, or what is known as, some people would say Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I mean? I would just say that, this is the Malkuth. I would say that this is the Kali Yuga. You know what I mean? This is the Kali Yuga. And it was predicted. It's predicted. But here we are now. Like, there's no denying that that's where it is. There's no denying that we in the Kali Yuga. Right? So how do you move in the Kali Yuga? You know what I'm saying? How do you move in the Kali Yuga? How do you still exist in the Kali Yuga without being, quote unquote, affected by it? How could you swim in dirty water and not get dirty? Yeah, Caligula coming back. Nothing is sacred. And I'm not a religious man. You feel me? I don't consider myself to be a religious man. I'm more of a spiritualist. But nothing is sacred anymore. Nothing. Not even these babies. They're not even safe, bro. They're not even safe because once you lose your morals and your values, then you don't value the elders, and you damn sure don't value your creations. You don't value the youth. You do not value the future. So we have all of these quote unquote communities that are rising up that don't even want to procreate. So why do you think they care about children? They don't even want to have one. They call children icky and yucky. They don't even want to, they're not even respecting their bloodline, and they're not even continuing their bloodline. They're in total disagreement to the universe right now. They're in total disagreement. They're completely opposed to all things natural, right? So why you think that they're going to take care of yours? You will leave your child in a library to get educated by this class? Really? That's where we go. That's how bad you niggas is down. You don't talk about. That's how bad humanity is down, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm sure, I'm just making it as plain as possible. And, I'm trying to be as non-offensive as I can. You know what I mean? But I'm speaking facts. I'm just speaking facts. I'm a father of 3. I'm a hetero melanated man in America. And I got questions. I got questions, bro. I just want to, I just got questions. I want to know some things without asking Chat GPT from OpenAI. I'm asking the Chat GPT. You know what I mean? The real Chat GPT. You know what I'm saying? The real neural network. That's y'all. That's y'all. Yeah, they took away birth gender. So now you just having him and her, or whatever they wanted, whatever this weird whatever they doing with this weird shit, man. Like, I can't even keep up with it. It's too much. It's too much. What up, Cat? It's heavy, bro. Oh, them and they. So imagine I give birth to my son and they like, yeah, that's a them. I'm like, a them? Nigga, that's him. That's Himothy. What are you talking about? You see him? That's him. You know what I mean? That is Himothy. That's him 5,000. The fuck are you talking about? His Imperial Majesty. Him. His Imperial Majesty. I'm not calling no damn child they or them. Are you dumb? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how much in the bizarro world we in right now. And we just refuse to accept it. You feel me? We just refuse to accept that we are not in the same timeline that we was in before Obama came into office. We not in the same timeline that we was in like in 2012. This is a new time. This is a completely different timeline. This is a different time-space continuum. We're in a different multiverse in a sense, bro. This thing is some weird ish. You know? I'm ready to have a conversation with scientists from MIT. I already emailed them about my theory. I want to get to the bottom of this. Like, is this reality a simulation? Are we in the multiverse? Like, you know, when we die and whatnot, are we gonna level up and go into another quote unquote reality that's a little better than this? Like, I be wanting to know these things. Because this can't be it. This can't be all that it's cracked up to be. You know what I'm talking about? It's too weird outside. So that leads me to my next topic about the rappers and the post that I made, because as I could, you know, ask questions about this community, the LBGT community, and what are their intentions. I want to know, what are your intentions? What's your 10-year plan? And some other things. I want to ask the rappers and whatnot, you know what I mean? And with the rappers, I'm basically comes the culture that's attached to it, because the rappers got the black athletes attached to them, and all of these clown niggas in Hollywood is attached to them, you know, and all of the niggas that graduated from Howard, you know, all of that alumni that work in the industry, right? The industry niggas that are my age, right? You see the gray in my beard? The majority of New York industry, when you go to all of the labels, it's niggas that we was chasing home and whatnot. And we used to rob on the trains, and dudes that used to be scared to come outside. They the ones inside of the offices. And the shorties and whatnot, those were the ones that nobody really was, you know. They work for Jay-Z now. So I'm like, I see people sharing it. I seen Guru, you know what I mean? Shout out to Guru. I seen Guru sharing the Jay-Z video about the AI sounding like Jay-Z. I wrote in the chat room, I'm like, fam, that's Jay-Z, man. Cut the fucking cap, bro. Like, how you niggas are not up on the new technology, and you right next to him, you out here tweeting about Jay-Z getting cloned. Like, who the fuck cares, my nigga? What was more sexy to me, and what I was intending to see, is that Jay-Z owns an AI company, or Jay-Z is invested in an AI company, or Jay-Z in all of his hobnobbing in Hollywood, he's able to create, because he has a tech company with Idris, right? But I haven't seen him in the space of AI, but he's selling liquor and he's selling weed. You feel me? And he's selling all of that other shit to us. And he's selling Griselda, and he's selling Meg Thee Stallion with his company and whatnot. That's what he's selling. Right? But the rappers never came to us and say, black community, I was out there giving Michael Rubin a fucking lap dance, and I overheard some of the investors and whatnot talking about a new stock. I heard them talking about Microsoft in 2022, right? And I think that this would be a good investment. The rapper, y'all left it up to master investor to give the people all of the cloth. Why have the rappers never said nothing? Why have the rappers never gave us, when all of the hoopla was going around in 2012 when Trayvon got killed? Why no rapper never came forth and said, look, there's a cryptocurrency named Bitcoin. It's $300 right now. Man, F all of that. We're going to raise $100 million. We're going to get these currencies. We're going to get out of their control and whatnot. We're gonna empower ourselves. I read the white paper. I was in a march. I was marching with lawyers and whatnot. I was marching with tech people in New York. I was marching with all of these white people who are in industry, and they never told me anything about what was going on. They didn't tell us about crypto. They didn't tell the rappers about NFTs. They didn't tell the rappers about Web3. They didn't tell the rappers about blockchain. They didn't tell the rappers about AI. They never came to us, but they came with Hennessy, Cavassier, motherfucking Polly, Molly, Percocet, goddamn lean, right? They came to us with Plan B. They came to us with everything but a fucking check, right? And all they doing is just feeding off of us. And they don't have no intelligence whatsoever in the 50 years that they've existed ever since, right? I would say ever since Biggie and them got killed. The only one that came forward that really gave us what we need, the way that the thought leaders bring it to you, right? The way that the conscious community brought it to you, right? Because y'all can say what y'all want to say, but y'all can't say that we did not raise the motherfucking bar on the planet. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a whole bunch of bad actors and fugazis, like there's bad actors and fugazis in all industries. But the rappers bring you death. The rappers brought you to death culture, and you still will allow them to choke you out and clothesline you and put their Timbs in your face if they pointed you out in the crowd and said, come on. The only one, right? will.i.am from the Black Eyed Peas, he's doing his thing. Chameleonaire, he's in technology. MC Hammer, they alright, you know what I mean? They doing their thing, you know what I mean? They took advantage of their networking skills and hobnobbing skills and getting close to white people in Silicon Valley, and they was able to get a few crumbs off the table, right? They was able to get a few crumbs off the table. But there's no, and Nas as well, but Nas never rapped about it, right? Nas is another one of them niggas that secretly, Ryan Leslie is a legend. Nas did not do what Nipsey did, right? Nas is almost a billionaire. Nas could have saved lives. Nas could have saved lives in Queensbridge, right? By saying, oh, I'm an investor in Ring camera. When he started investing in it, not after you sold it, right? He didn't even tell people about what an angel investor was. I never heard an angel investor bar. Shout out to KT, the arts degree in the building. I never heard him with an angel investor bar. I never heard him tell us anything about investing. I never heard him say anything about his investments. I had to do the research and find out that he was on angellist.com. He didn't tell us that. He didn't reveal that to us. He didn't tell us how to onboard into crypto. Nipsey did that. The shining example of the most forward-thinking artist in the last 10 years is, no, they don't have fucking NDA. You got an NDA to sell us crack. You should sign an NDA to sell us liquor. You should sign an NDA to legalize prostitution. You should sign an NDA to keep selling us drill music and deaf culture. You should have signed an NDA before you stood next to Fabio Foreign. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. Money Man, he's giving up game. Currency, he's giving up game. Yeah. Larry June, yeah, they talk that shit, but nobody talked it and lived it like Nipsey. He is the archetype for what all of these rappers should be becoming. None of them became like him because I listened to their music and none of that shit changed. They wanted to put on his chain though. Niggas wanted to rock fucking Pumas and shit, right? They wanted to holler at Lauren London, but they didn't really follow his blueprint. The same way that they cloned Tupac, but none of these niggas became revolutionaries. Right? None of them became revolutionaries. Yeah, shout out to Waka Flocka. Right? Shout out to Waka Flocka. Shout out to Waka on the pivot and whatnot. Shout out to Waka on the pivot. He pivoted into quote unquote consciousness. Eating right, NFTs and all of that. So shout out to him. He's on one. But he followed that Nipsey blueprint. And I respect him for that. You feel me? I respect him for that. You know what I mean? But the blueprint that Nipsey laid out, the book list, the smart store, the Vector 90 and whatnot. You feel me? The Vector 90 and whatnot. The blockchain. talking about Bitcoin when it was under $1,000. That's all Nipsey. That's all Nipsey, right? Vector 90, a workspace. Which one of these rappers opened a workspace for these kids is going to jail about a boatload? You see rappers getting bodied. They killed homie 4 hours after he posted a picture. BTS Savage is his name, right? I feel bad because I watched the video and he was talking highly about his son. He's a father. You feel me? And somebody tried to kill that man in his house with his son there, and he had to defend himself. And he had to kill the assailant, and then they killed him after that. So it's like people is getting stained in the street every day. What rappers are opening up Sector 90? What rappers are opening up create spaces? What rappers are opening up maker spaces? What rappers are opening up workspaces like WeWorks? What is the problem? They can't say that they can't do it because if you've ever been around the rappers, you know that they have the key to every door that they want to walk through. And if they can't walk through a door, they know key makers that can walk them into doors. They're sitting down with billionaires and millionaires having lunch and whatnot. Everything is being provided them for free. They could have their manager, their agent, pick up a phone and put pressure on any pink person because pink people bow down to rappers. Pink people bow down to rappers. You could get anything from pink people if you consider yourself a rapper. Facts. Y'all would never know that, would you? They do anything that you say, especially if you put the guilt trip on them. That's right, KT. From MCs to rappers to goddamn rappers. You know what I mean? Twix rappers. Right? Candy rappers. Peppermint patty rappers. You know what I mean? People that tell like little, it's not even like aluminum foil is tougher than that rap. Right? So there's a violation taking place when these rappers are not even being put to the test. Yeah, they on they woke shit. They want to march with you. Let's march. Let's put signs up. Let's hold hands and hug. Let's go across the Selma Bridge. Right? But they ain't bring nothing to the community because right back next week, right back at it, they like kill, 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 murder, 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 kill, 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 murder, murder, murder. Molly Percocet, make a twerk, sell that box. Make a twerk, sell that box. Molly Percocet. That's what they got for you. We need to turn the heat up on them. They need to be put to they need some pressure put on them. They need some pressure put on them. They need some pressure, some heavy pressure. They talk about, oh, this is the hardest job in the world. How dare you niggas miss the AI bus? How dare you late to that bus? You near Silicon Valley. These niggas be at all the events. They're around all the heavy hitters and they not saying nothing. So one or two things is going on. They're taking the information and quietly becoming investors, right? And quietly becoming investors and not telling anybody, right? And just keeping the community, even though the community is going through what they're going through. They're like, I don't care. You know what I mean? We know that the community over the last 10 years have been going through a psyop. They've been suffering and whatnot. With all of these cop killings, they don't put in no work for that. They never became a solutionary in that aspect. We didn't even talk about that. They don't have nothing to help with. They're helping the gentrifiers acquire the property in Memphis, in Dallas, and in all of these because they're lowering the value by just coming outside, bro. You know what I'm saying? The pink people took their power by offering valueless green paper with dead old white men. Go back to doing your research. Go back in the books, fam, and go back and study before you make statements like that because that's not how they took their power. Okay? It's not how they took their power. You know what I mean? They signed non-disclosures. No, they have Fox sign non-disclosures, or they have Tranny sign non-disclosures, or they have Saucy Santana sign non-disclosures when they spend the night with them. Okay? Don't talk about I don't want to hear nothing about a non-disclosure. No, nigga, disclose. Y'all disclosing everything else. Why don't you keep the negativity a secret then? They'll literally get on the track and be like, I bodied a nigga yesterday. You don't keep none of that to yourself. But if you have a mimosa, if you have brunch with a billionaire who's telling you, yeah, we buying up catalogs because in a year, AI music is the AI is going to be able to mimic all artists. So regular Joe on SoundCloud is going to have Michael Jackson on the hook, right? You might want to sell your catalog right now before that shit hits, because that's what's coming. And then they'll open up their laptop and they'll show it to them. And then Future, Lil Wayne, and all them niggas that sold their contract get on the phone, or they managers right there, and they like, sell, 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 because I can't compete with that. The value of after you heard the Jay-Z clone and whatnot, his catalog value is not going to go higher now. I beg to differ. He's now at a place where his catalog might be in peril and whatnot, because you won't be able to tell what is a real Jay-Z song in the future. You understand? So before they even announced it, you had to sell it. Now everybody that's selling their catalog is considered to be late to the game because the AI technology is already out. That's how they do things. Okay? At the cap table. That's how they do things. So the ones who were early, those were the ones that got the information early. But the ones that got the information early never brought the information back to the community. There you go. That's something that you have to question. What the fuck is going on with they never did that. Not only did they do it this time, they've never did it before. And then when they came to you with the NFTs, it was already a scam. The key to that was to get in early. The key to Ethereum and Bitcoin was to get in early. You understand? That was the key. The key was to get in early. Nothing else. This is all about timing. There's nothing else. I'm getting in on Bitcoin when it's $3 and I'm selling it at 30,000. You don't find that suspicious? You want me to do the math? Right? That's how that works. Fuck all the other politics involved. I get Ethereum when it first comes out, and then when that shit is right, I sell it. You don't have to be into no type of nothing. That's just business. That's money right there. You feel me? If you could start a lemonade stand, then you can understand what the fuck I'm talking about how to utilize a goddamn opportunity for your benefit. Forget all of that other shit that they confuse you with. Basic math. You buy it at $3 and you sell it at $300. You sell it at $3,000, or you sell it at $30,000. Are you dumb? That's what it is. That was crypto. That was NFTs. Why the fuck did nobody say, yo, the crypto roster, or what's the eight niggas? Nobody came to the community with some type of early information. They all came with the late information once the gates are closed, and the people who've invested in it is already comfortable, and now they're just going to the consumer. You are considered to be the bottom of the pyramid in the consumer rung, right? You are the uneducated customer. That's how they've been treating you, and that's how they're going to continue to treat us. So, my live, I don't want my live to get cut, but yeah, that's what it is. You know, go and check out the podcast Build and Destroy, featuring Blue Pill, Red Pill, Malik Deshawn, and Tariq Bey from Think and Grow Rich, Smoke and Grow Rich, I mean. Yeah, it's on Spotify. You know what I mean? Jack Heller, legend. That's right, I believe. Bars. That's a bar right there. You feel me? That's a bar. But you know, the podcast is building up. We got more coming. I got another one called Techno. It's called Build and Destroy. I'll put it in the chat. It is on Spotify. Spotify has now opened up for video podcasts. Anybody that's out there that want to do podcasts, but you want to do it as a video, go to Spotify. They pay better than YouTube. Go to Spotify. You know, you might be able to sign an exclusive deal over there or something. But, you know, that's an option. That's an outlet. That's another check for you. Get as many checks as you can off of your intellectual property. You feel me? Build and Destroy. Podcast. You made a children's book. Inbox me, rapper weed. Inbox me, king. And congratulations to everybody that's making books, utilizing Chat GPT, open and Mid-Journey and whatnot. I was in my mastermind private group yesterday, called Masters of the Universe, and I brought a sister on stage and whatnot. She wrote 4 books in 4 days utilizing Chat GPT and her brain. Right? Celestial Care, hit me up as well. I might have an outlet for everybody that's coming out with books and whatnot, especially if you have a physical copy. Hit me up. I'll be able to help you out and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? Karima, drop the link. If you need 100 followers on Spotify, drop the link. I know they give you, you got to have 1,000 followers or 100 to get to cash out. You know what I'm saying? I think it's 100. That shouldn't be hard and whatnot. You could inbox me. We could get you started with an online campaign and whatnot to get you 100 followers. You know, one of the things that we haven't mastered is online marketing. And that is one of the keys, you know what I'm saying? One of the keys to getting ahead in this digital economy. Shout out to Andrew Tate. I'm not an Andrew Tate fan. I don't really follow his movement and whatnot. But, you know, he says some things that I want to actually check out, you know what I'm saying? And I saw that him and his brother got released from Romania jail and whatnot. Yeah, so I'm going to be tapping in. I would love to see Andrew Tate on High Level Conversations. I'm just putting that out there. I'm willing that into existence. I would love to see him sit down with 19 Keys and have a high level conversation. That would be fire. You know what I mean? I want to see Charleston White on High Level Conversations. Out of character, though, right? Because Charleston White is a character. You feel me? I want to see the real, whoever's behind Charleston White. I want to see the real person on High Level Conversation. Not the Charleston that he gives them blogs and whatnot. Because he tells you niggas when he's on your blog, this is a character. Keep asking questions. I'm going to give you the shits. Right? I'm going to give you the shits. Miss Taylor, you can inbox me. You can inbox me. If one of those platforms is Novatech, holla at me. Because, you know, I'm about to start my Novatech campaign very soon. This is tentative, but look out for the screenings of American Maroon documentary coming to a city near you for the month of April. Also, the FBA conference in Dallas in May and whatnot. Me and Blue Pill and KT, we're going to be there representing and we're going to be speaking. And we'll also have our tables and our merch set up. But look out for the quote unquote, look out for the screenings. We're going to be in movie theaters. The screenings heavy in the South, right? Florida, Georgia, Carolinas and whatnot, heavy in the South, Texas, where all of my cornbread, backwood Southern family is. Yeah, y'all need to see American Maroons because that documentary is specifically speaking to the maroon in you. That documentary has to be seen on the big screen. I seen it on a computer, but it didn't do justice. I need to see Red and Blue Pill on 100-foot screen. I need to see John Horse on 100-foot screen. I need to see them goddamn them colonizers getting ran down on and getting bodied and whatnot and beheaded on a 100-foot screen. So we're going to come to a city near you And you know, we gonna bring that fire. We gonna rile it up. You know what I'm saying? That part. So yeah, with that being said, anything that y'all want to tap into, the link is in the bio. All of my outlets, from the Discord group to the Netaverse to the I got a new Gumroad. I launched a Gumroad with all of my